Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. Today is July 11th, and Mike Brenner and I are continuing our coverage of futures odds for the NFL. The AFC West is what we're going to take a look at now, and this is one of the most interesting, maybe the most interesting division in all of football. There's no clear favorite, right? The Broncos currently, as of July 11th, are the very, very teeny favorite at plus 180. I'm seeing the Chiefs at about 2-1. The Raiders 5-2, and then the Chargers on down the line at about 7-1.
Yeah.
And the Broncos, look, they're going to be a good team this year for sure. I think they're going to win, probably 9 or 10 games. But they lost a lot of starters, a lot of key players, and got to assume that they're going to be overvalued this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. And the teams that come back and repeat, usually they don't lose a big core. Well, when you lose your quarterback, even though he was aging and he was limited in what he could do, that leadership ability is gone. Now that makes me wonder if this team, if their thirst was quenched, and I think it might be. I think that's a little overvalued. Last year they were good to me. I had them in the beginning on a futures. I nailed them on the Super Bowl.
Yes.
But this team with Gary Kubiak, I'm not sold on him as the type of coach that has the Belichick ability, or like the past Bill Cowher ability in that locker room to sell this team on why they better be hungry this year. No, I think that's one piece that's overvalued
as well. And then the second team, the Chiefs, are very, very wacky team, right? They started the year last year terribly. Charles goes down, and then they're killing it. Now Charles
went crazy.
And now Charles is going to be back this year. They didn't make a lot of changes in the offseason. My sense is that they bring back a lot of strong players on defense, but I'm thinking they might slip some on defense. The way they started out, the way they played with Charles in the lineup, the way they have a game manager as a quarterback who necessitates a very strong, an elite defense and a strong running game. With all the strength around the league, and especially in the AFC West, I'm thinking that the Chiefs might be also overvalued. What do you think about that?
Well, they could be, and it's very rare that you and I disagree, but the defensive stance that you have, I got to disagree. I think that defense will be absolutely ready, and it's not because I'm from Philadelphia, but Andy Reid has one talent that he does year in and year out. He gets the team ready, the defense is focused, and they don't look backwards, and he can plug some holes. Sure. I like this team to come out pretty much like they did last year.
Which would be bad.
No. I'm saying as far as maybe drop 1 or 2 in the beginning, but then tie it together. When you have a healthy, all right, Charles, that changes everything. Alex Smith last year, you know what he gained, Pistol Pete? He got a contract extension, but also he gained some confidence. I like the kid. He doesn't lose games for you, okay? And he's just that kind of team. That's the one team out of this whole division I think is the steadiest and the most, as far as predictable for this year, and I really do.
I think they're pretty predictable as well. I just see them as taking a step back. I think their offensive line is questionable. Their defense might be elite, and it's just very, very head-scratching how they were so bad when Charles was in there, and then when he goes out, it just feels like if there's too many question marks.
I think that was one of those edges they got last year emotionally, Pete.
Sure.
I think it's one of them things that says, guys, let's dig deep, and they carried it through, and my hat's off. Came to an end in the playoffs, but this year, I know Andy Reid's going to have that team ready to go.
All right, and then the number 3 choice is the most watched, the most anticipated team of the year, the Oakland Raiders. Right now, 5-2, just to win the AFC West. Obviously, they have a scary young core of talent, and 5-2, maybe they're an easy bet to win the AFC West. That would be my pick for sure. We don't even have to analyze this any further. That's definitely my pick. What's your take on the Raiders?
Well, first and foremost, that's my dad. Rest in peace, Duke. That was his team. So I love Oakland my whole life. But here's the thing. I think they finally have the coach and the ingredients to be the Oakland Raiders that they know that they were.
Sure.
I'm talking back in the day, okay? This team is focused, and Jack Del Rio is an absolute player's coach. He played the game, blood, sweat, and tears. He loves the game. As a betting edge, this team is undervalued, Pete. They're going to come out. They're going to turn some heads. Amari Cooper's going to be another year, all right, experience.
Sure.
He is the real deal. Carr is a spot-on quarterback. He needs to work on the mistakes when he tries to push and rush it. But I think first and foremost, you're going to see the biggest difference in their defense. It definitely, I think, takes a step up. I love this team. They're my dark horse, and plus, I think they're going to be the only ones to give the Broncos and Kansas City a challenge. I don't think San Diego's going to.
Yeah, San Diego is a weird team. It's
that's a weird team.
Yeah, a lot of new faces.
They got issues.
Phillip Rivers. I mean, if Phillip Rivers takes a step back, then the whole
exactly. But Pete, how do you have a coach? The guy for 3 years had a losing record, and guess what they do? They extend his contract. Are you kidding me?
They had a ton of injuries last year, which that's not everything.
Well, 3 years. I'm sorry, Mike. His name's Mike McCall or whatever. Mike McCoy. Nothing personal, but guess what? You got to have a change. Phillip Rivers, I think, is the most underappreciated quarterback in the NFL, and why his agent. All right, maybe he loves living in San Diego, but why his agent has hasn't moved him to another team. I'll never understand it, Pete. I think his agent woke up one day and watched Jerry Maguire and said, I'm going to be a fucking sports agent.
Yeah. I think that the Chargers are they might be very inconsistent week to week. They might look awful in certain weeks, and then might be a good bet to bounce back. I'm going very heavy on their team total under. Okay. Very, very heavy. I can't say I disagree with that. All right, so for the AFC West, I guess we're in agreement. The Oakland Raiders at 5-2, the best bet with the current odds. Yep. And I guess even though there's a lot of hype surrounding them, probably the team that we would look to have good line value on their spreads, at least in the early going, right?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, but I'm making a prediction the team to win the AFC West, Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kansas City is going to be there, and I think Broncos and Oakland will be fighting for second place.
All right, so then your best bet is Kansas City at plus 180 because their odds aren't that different. All right?
Absolutely. But I like Oakland as a dark horse to step up. So.
Okay, you're on KC at plus 180. I'm on the Raiders at plus 250, Mike Brenner.
Right. NFL time.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.